Now let's look at the chart of accounts under other accounting sub-modules. On accounting menu, we have the chart of accounts. This basically lists the accounts that is in your software, and you can also create other asset, income and expense accounts to add there. You can also, while liability accounts and equity accounts have been defined and can meet all the required needs to avoid any cabbages to be inserted into the system. So to avoid that, the system is only allowing those three types of accounts to be created, and you have to enter the name of the account, whether it's an asset income account, the subgroup, whether it's an asset, a current or non-current, whether it's administrative or a program account for income accounts, then the account group, then other account. Again, on accounting menu, we have account groups. Needless to discuss, this is used to classify transactions. It's analogous to something like classes in QuickBooks. So it is needed for internal reporting and therefore not much concern, not a concern to you to know exactly what it does. But whenever you are creating an account, you need to have an idea what the account groups are. Then we also have the setting and opening of balances, which we had already discussed. Entering bills, you can enter bills like electricity bills, what other bills, set them, and maybe anything other services you had already received and you have to pay later. Vendors, people who provide you with services like Kenya Power, water, and everything, you can set them there. Then we also have invoice. This invoice can be generated on a monthly basis to the finance office, and to generate the invoice, click generate invoice. Choose the start date and the end date. Suppose you are generating an invoice for overlapping dates, then obviously you'll be going to be notified about that. So I'm just entering CITO values here, then just generate. The invoice is generated. Fill into this worksheet the accepted values for each water head, like welfare, merry-go-round, Germany's kitty, ATA, development loan principal amount and interest amount. Note that if the member doesn't have a loan, you cannot just enter a loan amount here. The spreadsheet, the worksheet will not allow. Will only allow you to enter amount to be charged for a loan when the member has an existing loan. And you could also realize that the loan amount is pre-filled. This is the total loan balance as to now for that loan type. You can still edit this amount to enter exactly how much you want to charge for this period. So that is it. Once you have made the changes, you can click save. Saving doesn't mean that the invoice is paid. When we revised invoices later, so let me just exit here, and sorry, I have quite loaded invoices. You see that we have pending invoices that have not been processed, then paid invoices that was paid or was processed, then rejected, the one that was declared and later on was rejected, was not approved. So in the event the invoice has been approved by the financial office, you just have to click process invoice to enter all the details in the invoice into the accounting system. A couple of things to notice before I end this video: how these values entered in the invoice are accounted for within the system. Shares is credited to member share and accrued to member shares equity account. Savings is accrued to member savings liability account. and the amount entered as fine is treated as group income and therefore credited on retained earnings. Just like any other of this, welfare is accrued to welfare, German is kitty, other deductions, and loan is when the amount entered as loan is used to reduce the loan balance of that member for that specific loan. Everything is done automatically and been tested is working accurately. Another thing, you can also choose to export this invoice to do some addition or editing in spreadsheet, Excel. So just click export, choose where you want to save. Like here, I want to save on desktop. It's named invoice. You can change the name. The data, it will be replaced. So when I navigate to my desktop, I can open it in Excel. Just a moment. Yeah, there we are. Then whatever you want to do with it here. Maybe there's other things you want to export to other system, you want to share with other people, and that's why you can also export to PDF and many other things. All other things we've been doing, all these features is fully supported. Now, beside the module-based reports, you also have financial reports, and in this video, I'm going to take you through the financial reports that ships with ChamaSoft. The first one is the trial balance, and this is the place you'll be visiting more often to ensure that your accounts is always in order. So the trial balance lists your all accounts and their debit and credit balance and ensures that both debits and credits are balanced. You will see here at the bottom or the total debits and credits. When that happens, everything is okay. And we also have the cash flow statement that details how money moves, cash moves in and out of the business or the organization. The income statement is a place where you will want to see how what profit or loss the organization or the business have made. So it will generate the statement as to the date you enter here, like this one is up to the current date, and there above we have income accounts, we have expenses that been occurred during that period. Then we also have total expenses and total income. Then net profit. Net profit is calculated by subtracting total expenses from total income and tax if any or any other adjustment. Then we arrive to net profit. This net profit is the one that is transferred to the balance sheet and is the one is used to determine dividends whenever it's issued. Another report, and you see the report here is balanced, meaning the software is okay. And we also have balance sheet, very important report, and this is the place where you want to see the financial position of the organization. I will list quickly. Current assets includes cash, and in this system, cash accounts are categorized or subcategorized as undeposited cash, petty cash, and bank. Then we have total cash. So here it indicates the total cash that the organization will be having as to the current date. Then you also have the other current assets, equipment and the other current assets there. Then we have long-term assets like equipment and machinery. Note that we have many other accounts but if it doesn't have any transaction, it's not going to feature in balance sheet and in most reports. So don't be worried why I'm not seeing this and other accounts. Then you also have liability, total liabilities, total assets, and total liabilities and equity margin, so or balancing. The report, we have the ledger report that details how the transaction have been made in the system, and since it's large, it's filtered based on account type. For example, if I want liability, I just begin typing liability, brings liability. If I want equity, I just begin typing equity. then pub, it brings in the equity account. You can also navigate next and previous is paginated to make analyzing your reports easier. Bank statement, the same bank statement we are generating from the banking menu. You can also generate it from here, and it's no different from what we've already done. We also have income versus expenses charts that will draw a quadratic relationship on how the two are performing, and we also have expenses breakdown and activity log. This is the place where you will find all transactions that are happening in your system are logged. The system has an operating logger within it that will help to track down or to audit what happens in the system. We have the date and the action that happened, the detailed entity type, changes that it made on the system, and the user who executed those changes. Can move next because it's a large file, then it's paginated. On the help menu, you can find about ChamaSoft, about the software version and detail. You can also navigate and peruse tutorials and manuals on Underdocs. And to back up your work, use file backup. So backup, it backs up the entire database, the current database, and the restore, it restores a file or the file that was backed up in the previous. Now, when you are backing up, this is very important. The files are backed up in users, then your username, app data, roaming, two-in-one backups. So when you back up file, you'll be shown here the path where the file is backed up. So we are writing it under users, your username, app data, roaming, two-in-one backup, and the backup name. And the backup name is a special name or unique name in a way that it comprises of the current date and time, so that you can back up as many files as you do, and you can always say flip back and forth between your backups. It is important that when you are doing something that you consider risky, you back up your good work, so that suppose you do something that messes up your financial records, you can still import the latest backup that was working and overwrite the mistake. So you see how important backup is. And always say keep your backup safe from your computer, so that something happening to your computer should not as well happen to your backups. Thank you for everything, and in case of anything, let's get in touch over phone or WhatsApp.